Hello, my friends on YouTube. Today is Sunday, the 8th of December 2024. Today's video for adults only. We're talking about Islam. So, in Islam, there's a lot of things that it's not appropriate for anyone who is under 40. Okay, so anyway, today's video is incest in Islam. Yes, incest. You could actually marry your own daughter in Islam as long as she's not her birth certificate does not mention that you are the father. Let me explain. Let's say, for example, two young people, let's say about 18 years old, each one of them, a man and a woman, a young man and a young lady. They had sexual relationship and the girl got pregnant. Okay, that happens. And she gave birth to a baby girl. In the Islamic tradition, a child is actually has to carry the father's name. And it goes as far as there's hadith that says even if the woman commits adultery in marriage relationship and she conceive out of adulterous relationship and the DNA confirm that this child does not belong to her husband, that this child was conceived of another man outside of marriage, nonetheless, that child has to be under the umbrella of her husband. That means he has to be he has to inherit the name of the husband, not of the person who got the woman pregnant. He has to be considered the son of her husband, and he has no saying in that. And there is a few cases, but I put a case because the BBC Arabic actually commented on this, about a man who works he's an Egyptian and he works in a different country, and he goes to visit home once a year, and he had 3 children with his wife. And somehow he checked the DNA and all the 3 children, none of them is his. Nonetheless, he is required to keep them in his name. They are his children, and he has the obligation to take care of them until they are old enough. That what was the court, the Egyptian Islamic court decided. They belong to him. They have his name. And even though, let's say, one of them is a girl who is now 18 years old, he can never marry this girl, even though she is not his daughter, even though she has nothing to do with his DNA. Is his daughter. He cannot marry your daughter. However, in the other case, the first case, a man and a woman have sexual relationship. The girl conceives. Let's say 18 years later, that baby girl became 18 years old. Her father, her biological father, legally can marry her. Why? Because she doesn't carry his name. She is when in Islamic tradition, if a woman conceives out of wedlock, her child is actually written by her name, not by the father's name. So the father has nothing to do with that child. So accordingly, that child is not his, hence he has the right to marry that girl whom she is carry his DNA and she is his child. And to be fair, the founder of the Islamic, call it faith, call it tradition, call it ideology, whatever you want to call it, that came to us 1400 years ago, to be fair, he didn't really directly he didn't speak of any of that directly. However, you have Islamic scholars who dig into all aspects of life, and they try to find a solution for any problem that it starts to show up. Hence, we have four main schools in Islamic Muslim Sunni, and four of them, all Muslim Sunni, belong to these four schools. So two of these schools say, yes, you can marry your daughter from adulterous relationship, because she doesn't belong to you. She doesn't carry your name. Hence, she's not your child. Therefore, if she is not your child, she is not your daughter, good luck. Enjoy. Where are the other two? Kind of like, say, no, I mean, they say like half of the population is women. Why bother with that one single one that, which I agree. I mean, there's no other woman that other than this one. Anyway, what got me thinking about this is that video on BBC Arabic that I found, that the man is, I'm going to put it in the description box. Unfortunately, it's in Arabic. He's very frustrated. It's like a responsibility that you dump on me, on him, that has nothing to do with me. Why should I take care of 3 children that they are not my own? Not only that, the woman was not faithful to me, and she's going around enjoying her. I am laboring in another country to secure good life for them, for her, and for the children, and she is not faithful to me, and the children are not mine. I mean, imagine the feeling that it will come to his head and his heart, and the frustration. I understand. I mean, that's not an easy thing to deal with, especially if you are from that culture. I would like also to make a side note, because some people told me that I was lying in the last video. I am not lying. Anything I speak of, it has root in the religion. And he or she, I'm not sure, was telling me, you are lying. The Prophet of Allah married Aisha when she was 18 years old. He consummated the marriage with her when she was 18, not 9. And I'd like to make a note here that there was an Islamic scholar in Egypt, and rightfully so, that person feels ashamed to say that the final prophet, the best prophet, the wisest and the most holy prophet, married a girl he married her at the age of 6, and he used to dream of her before 6. And this, not necessarily dreaming of her playing with her friends, but it was dreams of a different nature that he determined to marry her. And he married her when she was 6. And she got sick. And if it weren't for her sickness, he probably would have consummated the marriage right away. But she got sick, so he had to wait until she became 9 and she was healthy again and strong enough again. And then he consummated the marriage. If you had done a Google search, you would have come. I put you the link to authentic hadith by Aisha herself. Says the Prophet of Allah married me in Mecca at the age of 6, and he consummated the marriage with me in Medina at the age of 9. And I understand there is shamefulness there, because age of 9, a man who is 54 years old marries 9 years old like his granddaughter is awkward, to say the least. And therefore, I understand you feel ashamed. I would feel the same thing, but except for me, I left this nonsense altogether. You're trying to stay in that, and you're trying to justify it. Good luck. But my advice to you, look at the person who is a scholar, Islam Bahari, the Islamic scholar from Egypt. About 10 years ago, they threw him into prison for 1 full year because he was trying to kind of like bring some ease to this story, to make Aisha 18 years old, not 9, 18. And 18, yes, many girls can marry at the age of 18. To my taste, she's still actually not mature. My feeling, 20 for the girl, because it's a heavy responsibility, marriage, and unless her parents are supporting her, living near her and supporting her and her husband mentally and stuff like that, with the problem that it will come about, I feel 18 even is not really ready. Nonetheless, 18, let's say 18. He's trying to justify the marriage that she was 18. And if you look at it at the first glance, you say, Islamic scholar should actually adopt his idea, because he came up with mathematical acrobat to make her 18. Okay, let's say, hey, let's agree to that because it will make us look better. No, if you look at it deeply, this actually will make you look worse. Why? Because that will be the beginning of the thread that it will unravel all hadith, and after that it will unravel the main book. So, okay, if you unravel this story, that means the most authentic book, 2 books after the Prophet of Allah, after the Quran, is these 2 books, Hadith Bukhari and Sahih Muslim. These are almost as holy as Quran, because they are the Hadith, the things that the Prophet spoke of. So they are as sacred as the Quran. And if you are going to find mistakes in these 2 books, it starts with that mistake. Then later on, you say, okay, whoever changes his religion, kill him. No, because in Quran it says whoever wants to follow Islam, he has the choice to do so. Who wants not to follow, he has the freedom to say no. Later on, when there was strength, sword, and power, whoever leaves Islam, kill him. So which one are you going to go with? Okay, let's look into that hadith. And then, okay, that make us also look bad, so let's get rid of that too. Okay, and let's hold on to whoever wants to be Muslim is okay, whoever wants to be a different religion is okay. That's in the Quran. But then one hadith after the other, and you'll find that all of that hadith you're going to omit. Then what happens later? You will go to the Quran and start to omit Quranic verses like the ones that it says, fight all the infidels without any exception until either they become Muslim or pay jizya or get killed. You'll say that also make us look very bad, so let's omit that from Quran. And you keep omitting, nothing will be left. When you omit all the violence, how much left? Only the 10 commandments that it's taken from Judaism, and then what? Are you going to join the Jews that you hate their guts? I'm sorry, but the Jews are described in the Quran as dogs, donkeys, and so on and so forth. So I understand this person, there's certain feeling of pain, I understand. Nonetheless, it is what it is. What do you want to do? Today we heard that also, this is because of what's happening in Syria. Syria is in turmoil, and the president, I think he is in Russia now. He cannot continue. He is losing grip. The thing here is, 1400 years ago, this ideology came by force to this region, to Syria, to Iraq, to Egypt, to North Africa. And there was bloodshed. Unfortunately, the people could not repel this invasion. It was an invasion. It was by force. And they came. Actually, when they came, there was no Quran back then. Quran came with the third caliphate, started to be gathered. But all these, they were army people. They were people invading to get booties, money, women, and so on and so forth. Okay, there was no Quran. Even if it was the intention to make them Muslim, no, there was no Islam yet. Or I mean the Islam as an idea, yes, existed to unify this army, but there was no form of book, holy book, or any of that. So they came, it's either you are with us or you pay us jizya or we kill you. And many fought and many died. And now, because you couldn't push them back to where they came from, now is the time. I mean, any ideology that's spread by force like that, whether it's communism or the teaching that came to us 1400 years ago, it came by force, it came against people's wish. It must collapse, it must end. And with the ending of this, it will be similar to how it started. There will be blood, and unfortunately we see blood now in Syria, in Lebanon. And it will, I hope, anyway, I'm not wishing for that, but all the North African countries, Egypt, dictatorship cannot continue forever. They have a grip, and they actually get the religious leaders, Al-Azhar University and so on, to support them, to keep the people mentally under their command. But as we see in Syria now, this is starting to break. And as this starts to break, that tradition of the religious authority and the political authority united to keep people under their control, that will break away too. So even though in Syria, the system, the old system of President al-Assad, Bashar al-Assad, and his father, Hafiz al-Assad, both of them collapsed now. But even the new leaders coming, They are coming of the same 1400 years ago tradition. So it will continue until this tradition is totally collapses. There will not be, unfortunately, I'm not saying that I'm hoping for it, but unfortunately, there will never be peace in this region until this ideology is done, destroyed. This ideology cannot continue and people have peace. Thank you very much. Please subscribe and share.